There's one season each year that we all look forward to the most. We spend lots of money, decorate our houses, even move the dial on the radio. That's right, it's Christmas. I absolutely love it. But here's the thing. This picture of Christmas is not at all what the first Christmas actually looked like. Think of your favorite Christmas smells, the warmth of the fire, the joy of seeing the Christmas classics on TV. None of these were present at the very first Christmas. The origin story of Christmas is one of weakness and vulnerability. God, in the form of a helpless baby, lying in a wooden trough intended for animal feed. Yet this moment changed the course of human history, shaping the world we live in 2,000 years later. How is this even possible? To understand the real meaning of Christmas, we have to go back to the very beginning.
If it's possible to love anything more than Christmas, it would have to be here, on the west coast of Ireland, in Donegal. Ireland is known for its beauty, but this place takes the biscuit. It's stunning. The ferocity of the waves as they crash against the cliffs, the smell of the salty air, and the beauty of the exotic plants all speak of something other, something greater than ourselves. None of this is man-made. When I'm here, I always think about the goodness of God. I imagine the world at the beginning, when all was as it should be. Creation was perfect, and our relationship with God was untainted. But I'm soon reminded, as I'm tripping over this piece of rubbish, that our mess has corrupted this place, and how our whole world is affected by our bad choices.
In the story of creation, we meet the serpent, the one who put doubt into the minds of God's first people, Adam and Eve. He convinced them that God could not be trusted, as if God was holding back on them. And he whispered into the ears of Adam and Eve and he said, "Did God really say not to eat from that tree?" Do you see what he did there? You see, God spoke beauty and truth and life. And in one instant, that crafty little animal had turned the whole thing on its head. And so Adam and Eve, they went against what God had asked of them. They ate from that forbidden tree. They gave in to temptation. And this is when sin enters the world. Everything had changed in that moment. Like losing a best friend, Adam and Eve felt suddenly distant from God. As they were sent out from the garden, blame for the very first time showed its face as they sought to pin responsibility on each other, and shame snuck in as they realized the consequences of their actions. In their shame, they ran into the woods, hiding from God. And if we're being honest, we do the very same thing. Because of this relationship breakdown with God, we work hard to try and cover up our mess. We often struggle being ourselves. We can be quick to pass the buck. And we live with companions that we wish we never had, like jealousy, envy, pride. We inherited this mess, and we add to it too. But God promised that he would never leave us. He promised to make things good again. In recent years, we Irish people have spent close to €5 billion on Christmas presents. Just think of all the socks, the scarves, the shower gel. Crazy, right? Like, I get it. I need to wash more. But when I was younger, my favorite gift was chocolate money. It had more value to me than actual money. Gift giving can be stressful because we want to get the gift that shows we care. We want to get it right.
One of the reasons I love Christmas more than ever is because now I'm really starting to understand the true meaning of it. Christmas is all about God giving us his greatest gift, his son, Jesus. And he really got it right. It was a bit unexpected though, because if I was God, my entry into the world would be completely different. I'm thinking spotlights, epic soundtracks, the red carpet. I'm thinking live stream, basically as much noise as possible.
And yet, the opposite happened. Jesus' entry into society almost goes unnoticed. Even those who witness it aren't even special in society. There's definitely no red carpet. Even the angels that were singing are only heard by a few. There's no bang, just a whisper of God showing up. Jesus' life was unexpected too. Not what you expect from the Son of God. Jesus lived like you and me. He experienced all the ups and downs, all the types of pain that we feel. He got tired, hungry, angry, sad. He laughed, he cried, he skimmed stones, went fishing. He probably even slept out underneath the stars.
Jesus also did many unexpected things. This one time, Jesus went to a well in the middle of the day. In the scorching heat, a woman came out to the well, alone. Normally you'd collect water at sunrise, but this woman was such an outcast, she snuck her water in the middle of the day. What Jesus does next is totally unexpected. Back then, men didn't talk to women one-on-one in public, let alone a woman with a reputation like hers, let alone with a Samaritan woman who the Jews did not get on with. Yet none of that fazes Jesus. And instead of blaming this woman, Jesus speaks into her brokenness. He offers her forgiveness and a new way of living. He used the water at the well to explain that everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. In other words, don't use earthly things to satisfy an inner need that only connection with our loving Creator can fill. She races back to tell her local people what happened. The change is so dramatic that they want what she has found. This encounter is so significant because this woman had quite the story. It was because of the mistakes within her past relationships that made her an outcast. Yet in this one encounter, her life is completely changed forever. Jesus freed her from any guilt and shame that was weighing her down. This is the reason God became human, to come alongside us and to reconnect us to God, to bring light into our darkness, to be with us where we are, and to help us find our way.
Throughout the Gospels, we find people shocked by how kind Jesus was to certain people and taken aback by what he did. Even the Apostle Peter was shocked when Jesus tried to wash his feet. The Gospel paints a picture of Peter slapping Jesus' hands out of the way. There was no way he was going to let the God of the universe wash his smelly feet.
But Jesus told Peter that he came not to be served, but to serve. And the thing about washing someone's feet 2,000 years ago is that it was such a disgusting job. People wore very little footwear, and there was all sorts of dirt and you know what on the roads. Again, Jesus was up to something here. Although this was an incredible act of service, Jesus washing the disciples' feet was pointing to something much greater. Jesus' willingness in wiping away the dirt from the disciples' feet was speaking of his willingness to wipe away all the shame and guilt of wrongdoing in their lives. But even as Peter struggled to allow Jesus to wash his feet, we too can struggle with the idea that we need to allow God to serve and love us and let God wash away our sins. This is the true story of Christmas, of light in the darkness, the greatest gift that would take away the sins of the world. There have been some significant events in history. Take the 11th of November, 1918. This was known as Armistice Day. It was the official end of World War I. My great-grandfather, Percy Bromlow, fought in this brutal war. He fought in what was known as the Battle of the Somme, and it cost the lives of nearly 1 million people over 3 months. And so I'm actually fortunate to exist, as he was one of the few lucky ones to survive it. Other significant events include the ending of slavery in many parts of the world, and also the beginning of equal rights for women. Now, there's been a recent event which has brought me to tears. It's not as significant as any of the others, but on the 5th of November 2016, Ireland finally beat the All Blacks in rugby after 111 years of trying.
Yet none of these events, we believe, has the same power as what happened on the day Jesus was crucified. It was a Friday, over 2,000 years ago, when Jesus, an innocent legend of a man, willingly bore all of my sin so he could take the blame instead. And of course, this wasn't just for me. Jesus was gifting all of us with unlimited access to the presence of God, just like Adam and Eve had in the Garden of Eden.
In the Gospel of John, it says that there is no greater expression of love than laying down your life for your friends. And this expression of Jesus' love for us is so powerful because it's even more than one individual laying down their life for a great cause, like my great-grandfather in World War I, or even a whole people group claiming their freedom from oppression. Because Jesus' sacrifice undoes the mess of all sin and has the power to offer freedom and forgiveness for the entire world.
The power of this event really was for all. Like even when the Roman guards were mocking Jesus on his cross, Jesus cried out to the Father for them, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing." This is pure love on display for his enemies, for his friends, for me, and for you.
We're saying that Jesus' offer of forgiveness is so powerful because he bore the worst of humanity. Every mean word, every jealous thought, every evil deed. Even the times that we gave up on ourselves and believed that we couldn't do it, or believed that we weren't worth it. He died for it all. As Jesus hung there in humiliation, accused of wrongdoing that he had no part in, he bore our guilt and our shame. He broke the power of these things to restore our relationship to God.
We remember this day as Good Friday, but I think we should go a bit further and call it Great Friday. This is the greatest day in human history. Jesus did what God promised when our sin, our mess, first entered the world. The Bible says that it is for freedom that Christ has set us free, so we can stand firm and not become a slave to our sinful ways again.
You see, Jesus doesn't want us to live with our heads down. He died for us because we were worth dying for. Anything in our past or future is dealt with. Nothing should hold us back. As someone who has often struggled with self-worth and identity, this truth has taken away my shame and freed me to love myself, forgive myself, and dedicate my life to bringing this same love and forgiveness to others.
So we want to encourage you to reflect upon what these events of the very first Great Friday mean to you. This offer of forgiveness from God is a gift that only you can receive and experience life in all of its fullness.